Now, I started the show tonight by saying we need to do more. We in the West need to do more to save the people of Ukraine. They're being obliterated by Russia, and the West is not doing enough to help. If you want to catch up on the start of the show, if you miss it, you always go to our website or to our YouTube channel. But the economic sanctions were boosted substantially earlier this week when the US and UK banned imports of Russian oil. The trouble is that this move could hurt US and UK motorists more than the Russian government. We don't need any reminders of that here in Australia, of course, with petrol topping $2 a litre in some parts of the country this week. Here's the US president warning about US petrol or gas price hikes.
The decision today is not without cost here at home. Putin's war is already hurting American families at the gas pump. Since Putin began his military buildup on Ukrainian borders, just since then, the price of the gas at the pump in America went up 75 cents. And with this action, it's going to go up further. I'm going to do everything I can to minimize Putin's price hike here at home.
Well, the thing is that Biden's being a little too cute there, trying to blame it all on Putin. US oil production has been shrinking during his presidency, a drop in production that's already triggered significant cost increases in the US before this Russian ban. And don't forget, how could we forget what Biden's real plan is for his country's crucial oil and gas sector?
The oil industry pollutes significantly, and I'd stop giving to the oil industry, I'd stop giving them federal subsidies.
We are going to get rid of fossil fuels. These guys are okay. They want to do the same thing I want to do. They want to phase out fossil fuels, and we're going to phase out fossil fuels.
But, kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree, but I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate, okay?
Does he want cheap petrol or gas or not? Does he support fossil fuels? Hard to tell. Fossil fuels, can't live with them, can't live without them, hey? Let me bring in our Federal Resources Minister, Keith Pitt. Keith joins us from Bundaberg. Thanks for joining us. What's going on here? I noticed that there's been a drop in oil prices today. That's going to be good news globally, but probably pretty volatile at the moment. Doesn't the US need to increase its production to make up what's not going to be coming from Russia?
Chris, great to be with you, great to be with your viewers. And, there's a very direct line between the activities of Putin and Russia in the Ukraine and instability and uncertainty around world oil prices and coal and other resources and energy products. I mean, the impact in Australia is obvious. I know people are hurting. It's difficult to pay the prices that are currently being asked for fuel. But in terms of the Russian oil supply into Australia, it's been around a bit over 1%, is about all that we've been taking in terms of our imports. We've obviously stopped that immediately. But it is up to the US, to Qatar, to Saudi, to the big producers to get more production up and going, and that will directly impact the price.
Is this going to hurt Russia, though, or will they just sell more oil to China?
Well, they'll obviously find markets wherever they can, but we are looking to have a direct impact with the sanctions that have been announced. If we take away the money and take away the funding, well, that directly impacts Putin's ability to continue the war in the Ukraine. It's totally unacceptable. He needs to get out of there. We've seen horrible images and reports today, and the impact is direct. But Australia, as always, stands ready to support its allies and friends and like-minded democracies. We are working closely with Australian industry to see what support we can provide in terms of thermal coal and gas and others, but it is limited given our production was already pretty much at peak.
Yeah, now, can you tell us whether or not the federal government will be considering a reduction in fuel excise to try and alleviate the petrol price problems in the upcoming budget later this month?
Well, Chris, as I said, I know this is really hurting Australians, and it's difficult, particularly if you travel a lot, if you rely on your truck, if you rely on logistics and delivery. It's something that's been raised with me by colleagues around the excise and what opportunities we have. But once again, we need to remain committed. We need to remain strong in this country. We need to make sure we continue to build opportunities for us to make our economy stronger. We need a nation to be as strong as possible, as quickly as possible. That means exporting products. It means exporting more coal, more gas, more grain, more agriculture. The more that we can deliver, the more we can put in the tin here, and that is how we pay for the defence announcements that we've made. It's how we pay for all of the essential services Australians rely on. And I know they're hurting, mate, I really do.
Well, Adam Bant, the Greens leader, has been out there on Twitter, and others have been running this sort of line as well, suggesting that the coal and gas mines that you support are actually responsible for the natural disasters that we've been dealing with this week. Floods don't stop at electoral boundaries, he says. Oh, this is another one where he says you're not sharing the... don't forget about that one. He's blaming the natural disasters on coal and gas.
I'm pretty confident the Labor-Green alliance, and I can give this statement as a fact, would have had absolutely no impact on whether there was a flood or not, or whether there's been a drought. In fact, you can shut the entire Australian economy and move everybody to Europe. It won't impact the weather one iota, and that's the evidence being provided from the Department of Environment to the Senate earlier under previous questions that I'm sure you're aware of. But we are doing our part. We're a 1% contributor. We reduced our emissions by 20%. We've just got to keep that balance right.